So, in talking about amps for a second, you've been a long-time Marshall amp user. What is it about Marshall that allows you to get the sound that you're looking for?
Well, the comments tonight about how much the British invasion and the new wave of British heavy metals influenced me, obviously that Marshall sound was dominant in all of those bands. And if you go back at that time, I mean, who was making amps back then? There was Marshall and there was not, you know. And I just found out Marshall was making Vox amplifiers, and I'm thinking, no wonder I like the Beatles. They were playing Marshalls disguised as Voxes, you know. But for me, I think that it's got a really classic English sound. My rig that I use in the studio is different from the rig that I use on the road. On the road, I use what's called an EL34-100 dual monoblock, which is basically a power amp. It's a Marshall power amp. It's a bad. And I was using a Rocktron Prophecy for my preamp and all of my effects switching, and I recently moved over to Digitech's new product, but I can't remember the number. It's Digitech something that Dave uses. That's it. What is it? Thank you. Give that man a cigar. All right. Okay, so that's what I'm using, and I found that effects unit is actually, for me, it offers more of what I need than what I had before, and I was absolutely content with the Rocktron Prophecy and using the Marshalls, but when I started using the Digitech coupled with the Marshall, it was like, you know, I've arrived. My sound's here. Everything that I can, you know, want to do with the guitar is there. You know, when you switch back and forth between lead punches, if you're going into a lead solo and you switch into the rhythm sound at the end of the solo, there's an interface that they have this clicking sound on the pedal boards, and on some of the pedal boards you click it. When you switch back over to rhythm, you can tell that you switched. The DSP, whatever it is, has the spillover effect so that the solo will carry over when you go back into your rhythm sound, and I really liked that. I also liked that it offered much more increments to the effects itself. Like, I was using a Marshall JMP-1 preamp a long time ago, but it's notched, which means that it doesn't have like a potentiometer that you can turn. It's like clicks, like an old TV. And I found that it didn't have enough availability for me to customize it to what I needed. So I switched from that over to the Prophecy, and then the GSP set that up. But going back to playing live, a lot of guys, when they go out and play live, they'll use like the classic JMP, the 800s, which was what I had in the very beginning. I had a lot of those, and it's just they're as different and as complicated as any woman I've ever met. Every amplifier has its own color and sound and quality, and the tubes heat up at different speeds, and you know, that's the beauty about the Marshall stuff. Is it's not like you can pick one up and it's going to sound just like the next one. After a time, it picks up its own character. Like in hot rodding amplifiers, you know, there's guys here in Hollywood that hot rod amps, you know. I mean, Lee Jackson was doing it for a long time. He had hot rodded one of my amps, and I didn't like the way it sounded, so I ended up giving it to Jeff Young. He loved it.